1995, we had this WAQF Act where I think after the defense and the railways, the third largest real estate holder in this country is the WAQF boards across India. 75% of New Delhi is supposed to be WAQF property, where even the Delhi High Court, the central vista is allegedly under WAQF. Irrespective of which party comes, what happens, do you see any movement forward in this, or does it need to be a people's movement where we all sign up and say thus far and no further, and we will not take this lying down anymore?
The first thing is we must make up our mind whether we want to be a secular nation or a theocratic nation. I think by consensus we chose to be a secular nation.
Country, Sadhguru, where temples are under government control, we have in the 1995 we had this WAQF Act where I think after the defense and the railways, the third largest real estate holder in this country is the WAQF boards across India. 75% of New Delhi is supposed to be WAQF property, where even the Delhi High Court, the central vista is allegedly under WAQF.
Are they paying the rent at least?
I don't think so. Allegedly in Mumbai, even Mukesh Ambani's house is WAQF property. So at any point…
It's okay, he will manage it.
He can manage.
But I'm worried about the High Court.
And then they are the judge, jury and prosecutioner, because you have a WAQF tribunal where you have to go to, and they will… that's not the civil courts where you can get to. So many discriminatory laws in a country that claims to be secular, which actually means the state has no business in running, religious institutions. Do you see, irrespective of which party comes, what happens, do you see any movement forward in this, or does it need to be a people's movement where we all sign up and say thus far and no further, and we will not take this lying down anymore?
The first thing is we must make up our mind whether we want to be a secular nation or a theocratic nation. I think by consensus we chose to be a secular nation because Bharat cannot be any other way. Because we have mothered so many movements today which we call as religions, but these are all movements. Buddhism was a movement, it is not an ism. It's like if tomorrow these Isha people, if they grow in numbers, the idiots may declare their religion by themselves. I will not allow that. I've put in mechanisms so that it doesn't happen. Like this, a Buddha came, a certain number of people followed him, it's a spiritual movement. But somebody else from outside comes and labels it as ism. So people who followed Mahavir, they are very devout spiritual people, all right? Very disciplined, focused people towards what? Towards liberation, which is the fundamental goal of Sanatana Dharma. Who separated these things? Because people wanted these things to be separate. People saw in this collectiveness there is no penetration. So you must understand, first of all, that wherever they went, the invaders, you can call them colonizers, you can call them imperialists, you can call them Islamists, whatever. Wherever they went, whichever part of geography they conquered, they always transformed the population, if you can use that word, to their ways, without exception, nearly 100%. You take North America, South America, Africa, Australia, you take any place where they went clean sweep. This is the only place where still after nearly 1,000 years of invasions and occupations, we still largely, little diluted, distorted, but still we largely keep the Sanatan ethos with us, knowingly, unknowingly. But I feel whatever damage that was caused in 700, 800 years of occupation, more damage has happened in the last 70 years. Because this is like an internal scourge where, see, if there's attacks from outside, you can withstand, your pride will come up and you'll fight and you will recreate and rebuild. But if the termites eat you up from inside, you don't know what happened. One day when we touch you, you're hollow. So this hollowness has come into this generation. There is no strength of civilization in them. Their aspiration is to go somewhere because some other civilization seems to be more successful. Though when people did not know what is industry, we had industry. When people, like people, some of the Dutch East India Company people are among themselves writing letters to each other. They are saying that if you want to learn anything about business, you must go to Gujarat in India. These people have made a science out of trade and business.
Since then, so it's
Since
not
then,
new now.
not new. So I'm saying whether it's business or trade or mathematics or astronomy or music or spiritual process or philosophy or simply thought process, the profoundness of this culture was such, invaders who came, initially they slaughtered and destroyed things, but later on they were overwhelmed by the profoundness of what was happening here. So even their sword stopped halfway. It did not go all the way because that is the reason why still 80% of the population is Hindu in this country, because even the cannons and swords of invaders stopped looking at the profoundness of understanding of thought, music, astronomy and various sciences, including in business and industry. And as everyone knows today, this was not known when we were growing up. We never knew that 225 years ago we were the largest economy on the planet. When we were 16, 17, we were all wanting to go to America. Yes, genuinely. And nobody told us, just 200 years ago we were the largest economy, biggest industrial nation on the planet. 33% of the world's exports were from India. Nobody told us anything like this because nowhere in our goddamn textbooks these things were written.